What if the next time you opened Overwatch, a hero was just gone? No patch notes. No warning. No resp. Just an empty slot in the hero gallery. Imagine scrolling through the roster and seeing Torbjörn locked permanently. Not just some side character, but an original launch hero. Gone for good. And the scary part? I think this would actually make Overwatch a better game. Overwatch has some of the most incredible characters in gaming, but let's be honest, nothing ever truly changes. Battles, rage, cities burn, talent schemes, null sector invades. And yet, the entire roster is immortal. We see characters fight for their lives in cinematic events, only to queue up for a competitive match 10 minutes later like nothing happened. There are no real consequences. And stories without consequences, they don't stick. They don't have weight. Now, imagine if one of them was gone forever. The first hero that probably comes to mind is Reinhardt. He's iconic, the emotional backbone of the game. But removing him? That would be pure gameplay chaos. He's too central to the meta. The same goes for top-tier damage heroes like Cassidy, Soldier, or Sojourn. Taking them out isn't a storytelling risk. It's a balance nightmare. So, who could you remove that would hit hard emotionally, but not completely break the game? The answer, I think, is Torbjörn Lindholm. Before we get into the emotions, let's talk numbers. I looked at the bottom 15 heroes by pick rate in the Americas region. At the very bottom, you've got heroes like Hazard and Wrecking Ball with a pick rate of just 2.4%. Venture is at 2.8%. Shimitora 80, Santen Nipa. And then a little further up, we find Torbjörn at 3.5%. He's right there with Winston and just below Brigitte. Torbjörn sits in this perfect sweet spot. He's not invisible like some of the least played heroes. If you removed Wrecking Ball tomorrow, a lot of players might not even notice for a week. But Torbjörn, you'd notice you've had him on your team. You've probably played him in Mystery Heroes. You've definitely been eliminated by one of his turrets and watched that kill cam. He's familiar enough that losing him would actually hurt. It would make you regret not playing him more. And Torbjörn isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. He's the bridge connecting so much of Overwatch's history. He's Reinhardt's oldest friend. He's Brigiette's father. He's the one who found and repaired Bastion. Killing him off doesn't just remove a hero. It rips out a piece of the game's soul. Picture this scene. A null sector attack on Watchpoint. Gibraltar. The main reactor is about to overload, threatening to wipe the whole facility off the map. The only way to stop it is manual intervention. A suicide mission. Brigitte is there, pleading. Papa, we have to go. But Torbjörn stands firm. If this district falls, the city falls. Doors explode inward as enemies pour in. Outside, Reinhardt is fighting to hold the line. Bastion hesitates, torn. But Torbjörn makes the choice. He shoves Brigitte out and locks the heavy blast doors. His last words echo through the comms. A Lindholm always protects what he builds. We hear the clang of his hammer hitting the forge one last time. A flash of white light. Then, silence. The next time you log in, you go to the Hero Select screen, and Torbjörn's portrait is grayed out. Locked. Permanently. Now, I know what you're thinking. But people paid for skins. Of course, compensation is easy. Give players who owned his skins legacy credits, maybe some exclusive memorial cosmetics, like a weapon charm of his hammer or a special spray. A small price to pay for a story that matters. Players will quit. Some might, but stagnation kills the game's engagement far more effectively than taking a bold narrative risk ever could. Think about it. Which is worse? Losing a few players over a controversial story beat, or having the entire player base slowly lose interest because the world never changes. But why not just remove a less important hero? Because it wouldn't have the same impact. Torbjörn carries the perfect amount of emotional weight without shattering the game's balance. Now, imagine Blizzard taking this even further. Imagine a season-long event where Null Sector traps 3 heroes and the community is asked to vote who stays behind to save the others. The forums would explode. Memes would flood social media. Streamers would run entire campaigns to save their favorite hero. But here's the twist. No matter how the community votes, the narrative requires Torbjörn to make the sacrifice. Players would feel complicit. They believe they made the choice, even though the outcome was already written. That kind of emotional manipulation, that blurring of lines between player choice and developer story, that's powerful. That's unforgettable. Killing Torbjörn isn't the end goal. It's the beginning of something new. Grief would change the gameplay itself. Brigitte could inherit some of her father's forged technology. Maybe her repair pack visuals get an upgrade, or her rally ultimate gives allies armor plating that looks like Torbjörn's old kits. Reinhardt could gain a new passive, Last Promise, giving him a speed boost when a nearby ally falls. Bastion's idle animations could change to show little memorial gestures. This isn't just about adding a few sad voice lines. This is about mechanics evolving through story. Imagine this philosophy applied across the board. Heroes could switch sides over multiple seasons. We could see Doomfist begin to doubt Talon's methods, with his voice lines and even his abilities slowly shifting to reward teamwork over solo aggression. A hero like Mei could evolve from a damage role to a support, using her ice tech to protect allies instead of just freezing enemies. Maps would remember these events. A memorial workshop for Torbjörn could be added to Watchpoint. Gibraltar. A statue of him could be placed in Eichenwald next to the fallen Crusaders. The world would finally evolve, not just reset every match. Imagine this new philosophy. Every few seasons, one hero undergoes a permanent, story-driven change. Their abilities, their interactions, their very role in the game updates. The roster would become a living timeline of the world of Overwatch. Think about the community's reaction. The initial shock and outrage of seeing Torbjörn gone would be immense. You'd see forum threads titled Blizzard, how could you? You'd see social media campaigns demanding they hashtag bring back 2RB. But beneath the anger, there would be something else. Engagement, discussion, debate, emotion, and yes, controversy sells. Right now, Overwatch lore happens next to the game. In comics and cinematics, you watch on YouTube. What I'm proposing is that the lore happens inside the game. Death would matter. Growth would change abilities. The world would remember. And the roster would evolve. Torbjörn is simply the perfect catalyst to start it all. So I'll ask you this. If one hero had to be permanently removed from Overwatch for the sake of the story, who would you vote for? And more importantly, if Blizzard actually gave you the button, would you have the courage to press it? Because one day, they just might ask. Thanks for watching.